What TV1 said about y'all. Said this was the second team. I was trying to defend you in there. I hear you. Just don't have it from me. I'll be all right.
Coach, you enjoyed this process. I noticed you were out with fans and you wanted to basically show your appreciation. Talk to me about what media day means to you, and not only seeing the people at Radio Row and us in here, but your relationship with the fans. You took your time patiently to speak to as many as you possibly could.
Well, I think we have a responsibility to do that, and you know, we represent a lot of people out there, our fan base, our state, our institution, and just showing a little appreciation for the unconditional support that they've given us. It's not too much to ask. Our Tennessee fans have just been incredible through a tough period of Tennessee history, and I'll always be appreciative of that.
Coach, for the first time, I guess, in 3 or 4 years, we're seeing the same face back again this year for Tennessee. Has it brought a sense of stability for your team? Do you get a sense that they're feeling that?
I hope so. You know, we have a continuity on our staff. Every coach on our staff was with us last year, and so that's a real positive. And I think what also helps, even though there's going to be some growing pains attached to it, is the fact that we're so young. You know, we have just an enormous group of freshmen and sophomores that represent about 70% of our team. And so I think that allows you to really set the expectations. The communication's good, it's defined, and we're able to kind of forge ahead.
Some of your players came in and they talked about you saying, don't trust me, I'm going to earn your trust. And they said it took a while because of the fact that they have so many changes.
I didn't do a good job then. It took them a while.
Well, obviously, you were doing a better job of looking into the season. That's why you guys finished as strong as you did. Talk about that process and where it is right now.
Well, I think the big thing, you know, it was tough last year because we inherited a lot of old guys. Big senior class who had a lot of influence on the team. They're very vocal, and they'd been through a lot. And so I knew right away they weren't just going to open their arms up and embrace the way I do things and the way we want to do things. So we managed it as best we could. It was a great relationship, as good as it could be, and we were able to put on a pretty good run there at the end of the season. But when we turned the page and we had this new team now, I thought it was very important we sort of redefine the standard of what it means to be at Tennessee, what it means to play at Tennessee, and we weren't going to start making excuses for our failure. And youth wasn't going to be an excuse, and the things that happened in the past weren't going to be an excuse. And I think that's kind of the path we're on right now.
Coach, LSU Tennessee last season, you were quoted as saying, "I've never hurt like this before." Taking back to that day and kind of the emotion and perhaps moving on from that.
Well, I was hoping you wouldn't want me to take you back to that day. You know, they asked me when I go around on the tour, they said, "What's your best moment last year?" And I say, well, I had 2 of them. But they only lasted about 30 seconds. And, of course, the LSU game was one of them. But that was a tough time, and I probably didn't handle it the way I should have. And you learn and you grow from it. But I think the biggest lesson of all is that when it doesn't go your way, you got to look in the mirror and say, what could we have done differently to change the outcome? And there were a ton of things that we could have done prior to that where we could have won the football game. We didn't get it done.
Coach, you had a lot of young players last year who grew as the season went along. Talk about the progression from last year to this season. How do you expect it to be?
Well, that's going to be really the key to our football team this year is the guys that flashed a little bit of talent, made some big plays for us. Can they do it week in and week out in the SEC and be productive in doing it? So we expect them to stay on the track that they're on, but there's always that uncertainty, and we need them to. And the quicker these young guys get to where they're playing like veterans, the more success we'll have.
Coach, looking back now, Will Muschamp at Florida, you look back at that staff, you were in Florida with Nick Saban. Did you figure it was going to end up this way with Jimbo at Florida State and all these coaches?
Well, you know, when we were on that staff, I knew we had a great staff, and I knew a lot of those coaches were on their way and were going to be a success in the profession. So it didn't surprise me. The success that Jimbo's had and the success that Will's had and the success a lot of the other coaches on that staff have had. And I think You know, that and a combination of some great football players is what contributed to our success down there.
You talked about your relationship with fans. I've asked all the coaches this. In today's media, where this event's bigger every year, is it harder to be yourself and easier to kind of have your guard up?
Well, I think what's happened is because, you know, it's not just this event. Everybody talks about this event. You guys need to come to Knoxville. And it's media every day. You're covered every day. And you do have to be careful about what you say and what you do. But at the same time, what I don't want to do is be robotic. I want to be who I am, and I'm always going to say some things, you know, that you guys might think is funny and I don't think is funny, or say some things that just reflect my personality. And so I hope we don't get to a point where we don't really know who the coach is, because anytime he says something a little bit offbeat, he gets criticized for it.
Coach, do you think social media in a whole, not just in sports, but in a whole, has ruined, really ruined society in a whole?
I think it's changed society. I think, you know, I've had a lot of discussions on how it has changed our young people and how that's going to force us to change how we parent and how we coach. There's no question. And it's added some challenges. Despite all the good things that it's brought, it's added a lot of challenges to how we conduct ourselves as a society. But I wouldn't say it's ruined. I think we have to adjust to it. We have to recognize some of the benefits of social media, but we better be very cognizant of the risks and the challenges it presents to all of us. And if you don't, then you're going to get stung by it.
Coach, LSU comes to your place this year. Is it revenge?
No, revenge. I'm not one of those guys. It'll be a new team. We got a new team. They got a new team. You know, if we have to have revenge as a reason to go play and beat LSU, then we got some problems in our organization. So they've been one of the top 5 programs in the last 10 years as it relates to winning. And so it's going to be a challenge for us, and we'll be excited when they get there.
Coach, can you talk about the growth that Tyler Gray made late this season and the expectation you had for this?
Yeah, well, he did some good things. You know, he showed an ability to push the ball down the field, and he showed an ability not to get affected when things didn't go well, and that's a good starting point. But he's going to have an all-new receiving corps. That's number one. And he's now has to face defenses who are going to get the book on him a little bit. So he's going to have to learn and grow and get better. And he's still in the infant stages of being a good quarterback. And the only thing that's really going to fix it is going out there and playing some more.
What's your team's depth? I know you dressed out low numbers last year. You feel like you
Yeah.
have better numbers?
Well, we have better, but you know, we're a little deeper on offense. But we're only returning one starter in the